Hey guys, Kelly here with an Adobe Spark Post tutorial. In this video, I will show you how I add white borders to my photos and set up templates in various sizes to use over and over again in Spark Post. Please note that this is not an overall tutorial for the app and I will not be demoing all of the app's features. Let's get started. I want to first talk about the placeholders on a Project Life template. When we look at these templates, we know them as a 12 by 12 square, and on this specific template, we consider this large blue placeholder a 4 by 6 photo, and a 3 by 4 photo would go in this smaller orange rectangle. But if these were true 4 by 6 and 3 by 4 rectangles, there would not be a border going around the outside edge, or there wouldn't be a gutter between these photos. If they were a true 4 by 6 and 3 by 4, it would fill up this entire area. So in order for me to get a white border around my photos and have them fit perfectly into a placeholder, I did some research and set out on a quest to figure out the exact sizes of these placeholders so you don't have to. I did realize I could simply do this by referencing the layered PSD versions of these templates. I did dabble in digital project life using Photoshop on my desktop computer for a short period of time, and I have most of the templates. I copied the ones that I use most over to my iCloud Drive so I can open them in Affinity. Now I want to show you this process because I want you to understand where the pixel dimensions for the placeholders that I will put into the Adobe Spark Post are coming from, as they are not going to be your standard 900 by 1200, for example, for a 3 by 4 placeholder. So I'm going to X out of this and come over to my Affinity app, and this is going to take a moment to initialize. And once it does, I'm going to come up here to that little plus mark at the top and open a new document from the cloud. And you can see in my iCloud Drive I have a folder for Project Life templates. And I'm going to open up this template A. Now once it opens up, I do want to turn that top layer off so I can see all of the placeholders. And one thing to note here is the pixel dimension of the actual template. I'm going to tap the document icon in the upper left corner and then tap resize. And you can see down here at the bottom, it is 3600 by 3600. Now the Project Life app exports your pages at a 3000 by 3000 pixel dimension. So what I want to do is I'm going to come over here and change this to 3000. That aspect ratio is locked, so the height and the width are going to match, because I want to get an exact dimension of these placeholders. Okay, so once this is done, I'm going to hit apply. Now I want to tap my little move tool, and then I'm going to start with this horizontal 4 by 6 placeholder. I have that selected, and if I come over here to my right hand sidebar here in the Studio palette, I'm going to select the Transform Studio, and right here you can see that the dimensions for this placeholder is 1426 by 951. I'm going to make note of that dimension on a piece of paper. Then I want to select the smaller rectangle, the 3 by 4 rectangle, and make a note that this one is 695 by 936. Now I want to open a template that has a 3 by 4 and 4 by 6 photos, but are in the opposite orientation. And the reason why I want to do this is I want to make sure that the pixel dimensions are the same for the placeholders, whether they are in a horizontal or a vertical orientation. So I'm going to come over here and turn that top layer off, and just like I did on the other template, I'm going to resize this. and I'm going to hit OK and then apply. Let's tap on this first green placeholder here, and over in the Transform Studios, I can see that is 951 by 1426, which is what it is in a 4x6 horizontal position. And then right here is 936 by 695, which is the same for a 3x4 in a vertical position. There are a few placeholders I have come across that may be slightly off by a few pixels from their horizontal or vertical orientations. I'm not going to go through all of the sizes here in this video because that would take some time, but I am going to go through templates that I have other sizes of and make note of them. And friends, you do not have to do this. As a reminder, I just want to show you how I'm coming up with these dimensions. What I will do is list the dimensions of all of these placeholders in the blog post so you can reference them and do this yourself in Adobe Spark Post. Now that I have all of my dimensions, let's go ahead and add a white border to some of our photos in Spark Post. When you open up the Adobe Spark Post app, you will see one of two windows, Templates or My Post. You can see there the little icons down here at the bottom of your screen. If I click over here to My Posts, this is kind of like a library of all the graphics I've created in Spark Post. Think of them as templates that you yourself have created. So I want to create a new one. I'm going to tap the little green button in the center of my bottom part of the screen. And from this dialog box, I'm going to select Photo Library. And I did place some photos in an album to select from for this tutorial. And the first one I'm going to go with is a vertical 4x6. So I'm going to just select that picture and then tap Add One at the top of my screen. Now I want to come over here to this custom icon. This is your resize screen, okay? So if I come over here to custom, this is where I am able to input all of my information that I got from getting those horizontal and vertical dimensions in Affinity. My width is going to be 951 and my height will be 1426. And I do want to make sure that I am on a pixel dimension here or size. You can rotate between millimeters and inches, but I do want to make sure that I am on pixels, and I'm going to click Done. You can see that it brought the edges in a little bit. I'm going to click on Done at the bottom of the screen, and by default Adobe Spark Post assumes that you are going to put text on your graphic or your photo. We are not going to do that here. So to get rid of this text box, I just want to tap on it. Your icons change at the bottom of your screen, and I'm going to select Delete. And your icons change again. Now I want to tap on Layout, and let's make sure we select that layout option that shows up at the bottom of your photo. And you can see that there's several different layouts we can choose from, but we just want to focus on the one that is on the far left under the suggested section and tap that plain rectangle. Now we can click on Border, and a slider appears, and here's where you can set the border that goes around your photo. So after some trial and error, I found, and this is just me, I like a border of 50. Okay, you may or may not like this border. It may be too thick, may be too thin. You're going to have to decide that for yourself. Okay, then I'm going to select color, and I'll just select the white color swatch. Once I have that done, I'm going to tap on Done, and then up here in the top right corner we have an export button. I'm going to save this image to my camera roll. In the upper left corner, I'm going to hit that back arrow, and this is going to bring me back to the My Posts window. But I want to click on this again, that template that I just created, and I'm going to select more, and here's where I want to rename this template. So I'm just going to put this in as 4x6 vertical. Whoop, let's spell it correctly. Again, and then I'll click done. And then I'm just going to X out of it. Now let's do the horizontal version. Using the same steps, we're going to come back over here to my photo library, and I'll scroll down to my album. I'm going to select this photo right here, and then tap Add One. Come over here to my custom options, and I'm going to put in 1426 for the width and the 951 for the height. Now you may be wondering, why couldn't I just take that last 4x6 template that we created and just swap the width and the height? Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. I don't know why, but if I was to swap, the width and the height like that, the border isn't going to follow through. The border is going to end up wonky. So we just have to input the information by hand like this. So I'll tap on done, tap done again, get rid of that text, and then come here to layout, and do this suggested one right here, and then tap on border, and I'm going to set this border to 50 as well. Now sometimes, and you'll see in the list and the blog post that there may be times where the border isn't the same for the width and the height. I'm sorry, this border isn't the same for a horizontal or a vertical photo that are the same dimensions, but just opposite orientation. I don't know why that happens. It just does. So, but this one I found that it does stay the same, whether your 4x6 photo is vertical or horizontal. Okay, I went through the steps and colored my border to white. I'm going to tap done, and I'll export this one out, save image, come back over here to the My Posts window. I'm going to select that 4x6 horizontal, and we're going to rename it 4x6 horizontal, and then tap done. Now let's do the 3x4 sizes. I'll open up my photo library, come down to that album, and let's see, I want to go with this photo right here. Add one, come to custom, and this is going to be 695 by 936, and go to done, click done again, and we want to get rid of that text. Come over to layout. I'm going to select this far rectangle to the left, tap on border, and this one, I know it's going to seem huge, but I found that a border of like 74 or 75, I don't know why this particular photo, it is only letting me do a border in like 2 pixel increments, but it is. But I found like a 74 or 75 works well. And changing the color to white. I'll click done, and I will export that. Come back to my posts, select that again, and change this to 3x4 vertical. And then tap done. Now let's do a horizontal. Photo library, and let's see, how about we play around with this one. Come to custom. This one will be 936 by $6.95. Click Done. Go through and get rid of that text. Come to Layout, select the one on the far left, and a border. Going to put this at about a 75. So, and change it to white. Click Done. And I'm going to save that image. I'm going to come over here and we'll rename this one as well. This is 3x4 horizontal. Tap Done. And now let's see what this looks like in a Project Life app template. I'll come over to my home screen, open up the Project Life app, come over to Layouts, and let's select this 4x6 horizontal. I'll come over here to my photo library, and let's see, I believe this one was a 4x6 horizontal. You can see it's got a nice white border around it. And let's select this 3x4 vertical, and I believe this one was the 3x4 vertical there. Now let's look a little bit closer at these borders here. You can see how nice and even the borders are. They all match, and that's important to me. It might not be important to you, but I like it when the borders are all even, and that is why, like this border here, it was like at a 50, I think, and then this border here on the smaller photo was at a 74, 75. So it's not like a one size fits all. It's something you're going to have to play around with, and it took some trial and error. So once I found that I liked this width of a border, when I went to go do the 3x4s, I was playing around with different sizes until I got the pretty much exact match. Okay, so when I was in Adobe Spark Post, I would maybe start off with a border of 20 on a 3x4. I'd export that out to my library, drop it in this template, and if I saw that it was too thin, then I went back to the Adobe Spark Post and just kept playing with that border until I got it right. So if these are not settings, if these border settings are something that you do not care for, you want your border either thicker or thinner, you would have to play around, go back and forth and play around with it. All right, let's come over here and change out the layout here. So if I was to select Big Shot 7, you can see that, let's see, this would have to come to a 3x4, and I know that wasn't a 4x6, but though you can see that the borders are going to stay consistent no matter which template I select that has the 4x6 and 3x4 placeholders that are in that orientation of those photos that we did. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to go through setting up a template for each placeholder in this video. The dimensions for most of the placeholders as well as the border settings are listed on my blog. So now that we have our templates set up in Adobe Spark Post, how do we go about switching out of the photo? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over here to Post, and I'll select this 4x6 vertical template. And what I want to do here is tap on Edit. Okay, and if you tap on the photo in the center, your icons are going to change, and you come down here to Replace. And if I go into my photo library and I come to that album, and let's see, if I select this one here, it's going to pop it into that placeholder. I'm going to select Done, and then I can just export this out into my camera roll. And let's come back over here to Project Life. We're going to put that into the library. We're going to open up a new one. Let's see, something with that vertical 4x6 photo. How about this? Tap this placeholder. I'm going to pop that new photo in there, and then this one, I believe, was this photo here. And look at how nice that looks. See, we have those even borders. So guys, I hope you found this video helpful, and please feel free to play around with your border sizes. The border sizes I selected are my own personal preference. Have fun with Adobe Spark Post. Thanks for watching.